What's going on, Muscle Monsters? Align Gonzalez here, and today I'm going to give you all of the things that you need to know if you want to build muscle mass. A lot of the time, people tend to overcomplicate things and end up spinning their wheels and getting nowhere. So I'm going to give you 10 things that you can start doing right now to start actually building muscle. So without further ado, let's jump right in. The first thing you want to do is get on a program. Now this program has to do a few things. Number one, it has to fit your schedule. Number two, you actually have to enjoy the program that you're on if you are going to be doing this for a prolonged period of time. You don't want to hate it, okay? And then lastly, it has to, or it should, be set up in a way that it's hitting every muscle group twice per week. That's going to be the optimal frequency when compared to just one time per week for a few different reasons. Number one, more elevated protein synthesis and the repeated bout effect. Number two, make sure that in this program your big heavy compounds are the focal point. It's okay if you're going to add in bicep curls and lateral raises, but the focal point of each workout should be things like bench press, bent rows, squats, deadlifts, big heavy lifts that are going to allow you to load overall muscle mass as opposed to just one muscle group at a time. Number three, and this is going back to the program fitting your schedule, is be consistent. All right, it may not seem like a big deal when you're missing a workout here and there, but over the span of a year, that actually becomes or can become a big setback. So if you want to get from point A to point B in the fastest time possible, make sure that you are consistent. Number four, the main mechanism or pathway by which we build muscle is progressive overload, to get stronger over time. So that needs to be your main focus. This doesn't mean you have to train like a power lifter or attempt to bench 400 pounds. What it means is you should go to the gym every session with a goal in mind, and that goal is to be better this session than you were last time. So whether that be by adding a little bit of weight or by maybe adding some more reps, the goal is simple. Get stronger, do better, progressive overload. Number five, don't be afraid to lose your abs or add a little bit of fat. I see this all the time. People will say, hey, I'm finally starting to get stronger and build muscle, but I'm noticing I'm getting a little bit of fat around the midsection, so I want to cut, etc., etc. And what ends up happening when you do this is you end up going back and forth through small bursts of bulking and cutting and bulking and cutting, and you never actually give yourself enough time to grow. So what I would recommend is that you stay in a smaller surplus so that you can eat enough to grow without getting too fat too quickly. But even when you do lose your abs, it's completely fine. Just know that in the long term, this is going to be beneficial. You're going to give yourself more time to actually build muscle so that when you do cut and show your abs, you have more to show. Number six is make sure you're getting enough protein. And by enough, I mean at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. I know we have research that shows that maybe we don't need that much, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And even in that research, it does say that depending on certain factors, it is better to have more. So 1 gram per pound of body weight is kind of a safe bet in terms of how much protein you need to actually build muscle, especially for someone who's training at a high intensity frequently throughout the week. Number seven, give it time. Stop program hopping. So here's what happens. Somebody will do what I've said in the video so far, right? You'll choose your program, you'll start progressively overloading, 6 weeks will pass, and you don't look like you belong on the cover of a fitness magazine. So you say, hey, Zac Efron gained 100 pounds of muscle in 4 weeks, so that means I'm on the wrong program. That's not the case, all right? This takes time. More so if you're doing it naturally, which I would imagine you are. All right, so give whatever program you decide to follow time, right? After 12 weeks, if you don't look like what you wanted to look like by the end of your training career, that's completely fine. It doesn't happen that quickly. Will you have gotten bigger and stronger? Yes. Will you be ready to compete at the Olympia? No. It takes time. But if you start to program hop, no program is going to work because they all need enough time to produce results. Number 8, rest and recovery is critical, right? Part of it is your nutrition, which I'm going to assume is already somewhat in order. But another thing that most people don't talk about, especially lately, is sleep, right? It's important that we get enough sleep, as that is the time where our body really takes to kind of repair and rebuild new muscle tissue. All right, so if possible, 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. If you can't, don't kill yourself over it. But if you can, always try to aim to get at least 7, 9, depending, everybody's gonna be a bit different, but just get within that 7 to 9 hours each night and you'll be good. Number 9, track your progress. I can guarantee you that if you're looking at yourself and tracking it that way, after 4 weeks of training, you're not gonna notice any changes, right? It's not gonna be visibly noticeable, okay? However, if you did measure your arms, 4 weeks later, you measure in comparison to when you started, you will see a difference. Although you may not be able to see it in the mirror because you see yourself every day, you will be able to see through tracking, right, through your measurements, that you are in fact growing. That will yield more motivation to keep going because you say, oh, okay, well, it is working, and in another 4 weeks, maybe I'll be here, and so on and so forth. So make sure that you're tracking your progress. Track your progress with your lifts as well. As we said before, progressive overload is the main pathway by which we build muscle. So if you're tracking your workouts, you're always gonna know exactly how much of a load you need to aim for if you want to be better. And then lastly, be patient. This takes time, all right? If you want to look like somebody who you admire and that person has been training for 10 years, don't expect to look like that person after 1 or 2 years of training. You have to be patient. This is a journey, this is a lifestyle, this is something that you kind of have to go in with the mindset of, I'm in it for the long haul, right? This is not something that's a 90-day challenge or a 6-week challenge or whatever the case may be. This is a lifetime thing. The time is gonna pass anyway, right? So if I tell you, hey, it's gonna take you 5 years to get those results, well, you should start now, because that 5 years is going to pass anyway. And when 5 years does come around, one of two things is gonna have happened. Either 1, you've reached that goal, or 2, you didn't start when I told you to, so you're still in the same place and now it's gonna take you another 5 years. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just some quick tips that you can start implementing right away, and you can start building muscle. It's not any more complicated than that. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, click the like button below. Make sure to follow me on social media. I am very active on Snapchat and Instagram. So @Muscle Monsters for both of those, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.